My name is Jude. I live in Seattle, Washington. I am a tattoo artist. That is my work. That is my label. And it's a big part of my identity. Hearing the word tattoo artist definitely calls in mind a lot of things, especially in the States, in the Western world, where tattooing is very much a male-dominated industry, especially now that it's more mainstream. People get shows like Ink Master, people get shows like Best Ink, and they have this idea of a tattooist or a tattoo artist, which is not necessarily where I would like to take my tattooing practice. A lot of times when people think about tattoo artist, they think, oh, super hardcore, super cool, kind of sometimes a little bit douchey, very blunt, very super old school. So as a queer person of color who is born female, these are definitely all the challenges I have to face on how I would like to present my art, how I would like to present myself, and what kind of space in tattooing I would like to create for people that entrust their bodies to me. Originally, I started working as a tattoo artist to provide extra income so that I can support myself in making my own fine arts practice. I actually used to work for famous artists up in Vancouver, BC, and as an illustrator and for galleries. But I didn't feel that that was where my art was to be. One of the reasons being that I didn't feel that the art that was made was personal or that it was approachable. I feel like in a big gallery setting or a lot of art that we see now is kind of removed and is geared more towards the art mass, which is what I didn't want. And I started tattooing, and after a while I realized, hey, this is actually one of the channels or avenues that I could take where it is both a collaboration with the client and also me offering my art. There's also kind of like this romantic feeling that comes with it where a lot of times art's supposed to last. Yeah, in history, you see paintings in the Louvre and it's still there from many hundred years ago. I've always found that a little off-putting, actually, and condescending. I don't really believe that powerful art necessarily needs to be immortalized or live forever. I find that art that is more personal to me or has a personal connection actually has can touch more people on a bigger scale because not everyone is art educated. And honestly, tattooing, it only lasts as long as you last and your client lasts. So it means something to them. And as soon as it's done, as soon as, their life is done, that's the life of the art. So I started looking into tattoo history and researched more into Thai culture, Polynesian culture, more traditional tattooing that is not strictly westernized. And I find that it's a lot more of a spiritual practice as much as an art form. It's as a rite of passage to carry a piece of your family with you. It tells people what tribe you're from, what nation you're from. It's also a lot of healing practice, and also an act of claiming and reclaiming the body, which, as identifying as a queer person of color in this country, being on certain marginalized groups and working within that community largely, I feel that that is what I wanted to bring to the table in tattooing and in working with the community that I belong to. I find that as soon as I kind of redirected my tattoo practice into that avenue, or I've had the honor of working with many people from the community, people that had their scars covered up from traumatic experiences, people that comes to me as a transgender who don't feel comfortable going anywhere else because maybe they've just had surgery, maybe they've had very bad experiences before with people not respecting their bodies or making them feel safe in a space that is quite vulnerable. You're sitting with someone for hours in pain. You're entrusting your body to them, and sometimes you share your stories with them. And I knew that I would like to have that if I actually do get tattooed, and I would like to be able to offer that, a safe space, or safest as can be. That sense of safe space changes for everyone, and how to be able to hold space for that and bring about a collaborative process that will help to empower and help these people reclaim their bodies that have been subject to a lot of stereotypes, a lot of oppression in a very patriarchal, very capitalist, very male-dominated society. And I feel like that has been the most rewarding of my journey so far, to know that sometimes people never felt comfortable with their chest because they got top surgery, and for me to tattoo them is a healing process for them, or people who's never been confident to show off like their thighs or is proud of their body because society tells them that they're not the perfect body type. And as soon as they get tattooed, they email me and they say, hey, guess what? This was the first time I bought shorts in years. To see that working together with my clients and having things be a trusting and intentional sharing of space and art has really empowered them to become more of who they really are, and to wear that very proudly. That's pretty much where I want to keep taking my tattooing to, which is probably quite different from what you would see on Ink Master or what you would see on Best Ink. I'm happy for people to be the best tattooer ever, but I feel that tattooing for me and is more of a way to build community, and I feel that art has a bigger way of impacting people that is not just for art's sake. From my story to yours, I'm Jude, and I'm more than just a stereotypical tattoo artist.